Before we get started, I'd like to show you the Anime America limited edition pop sockets that are on sale at our Teespring store for a limited time only. This is a pre-order item with a cute little design not featured on any of our other products, but a certain amount has to be sold in order to make the pre-order work. No worries on your end though, as your money will be returned immediately if the pre-order doesn't succeed. So if you'd like to own this limited edition pop socket while supporting our channel, just click on the link down below to make your purchase before July 2020. Well, I'm worried now. Alright, so we all know that Netflix is making a live-action TV series for Cowboy Bebop, which, in my case, anytime when an anime gets a live-action adaptation, I'm gonna watch it anyways just to see how I feel about it. I'm one of those rare few that actually likes a Death Note adaptation, but for more on that, you can either watch the Death Note live-action review, or when me and Phantom started did top 5 best and worst live-action English adaptations. To which the majority of the comment section was, what about this movie and that movie? And I'm like, we were just focusing on the English adaptations, but I digress. But yeah, Netflix has greenlit the live-action series of Cowboy Bebop, starring John Cho, Mustafa Shakir, and Daniela Pineda. The description on Netflix is, a ragtag crew of bounty hunters chases down the galaxy's most dangerous criminals. They'll save the world for the right price. A live-action series. And it makes you wonder, like any adaptation, are they going to stick true to the original source material? Are they going to do things their own way? But then an article came out after an interview with one of the writers saying Netflix's Cowboy Bebop series will not be one-to-one adaptation. Faye Valentine's costume to be censored with the caption, "We need to have a real human being wearing that." Excuse me? As far as I'm concerned, real human beings can wear what they want. Have you been to Walmart? I think the caption is, we want her to wear something that's not gonna get as many complaints from a modern audience. That's just how I'm seeing it. While production staff has been adamant that Netflix's live-action adaptation of the classic sci-fi anime Cowboy Bebop intends to remain faithful to the vision of the original space western, series writer Javier Grillo-Marxuach, I've never seen this last name before, so I am so sorry if I butchered that last name, recently confirmed that the series will not be a one-to-one adaptation. Oh boy! What are you gonna do this time? He confirmed changes such as an outfit swap for Faye Valentine, less glamorization of smoking, and an original narrative. I'm so scared. I am so scared right now. Okay, so I don't think smoking was ever seen as glamorous. It was there to set up the atmosphere of the series. It was there to kind of make everything just look so jaded and run down and negative. Like, space is supposed to be this glorious fantasy that we always dreamed of thanks to Star Trek, but Cowboy Bebop is in this, like, very dystopian, depressive atmosphere that people are doing whatever they can to survive, to get through the day, and it's super stressful. They could die any day now. Let them have their cigarettes. They just need something to get by. So smoking was not glamorous. It was just there for the setting. And an outfit swap for Faye Valentine. Okay, keep going, article. Tell me more. In a recent interview with IO9 series writer Grillo-Marxuach, I'm sorry again, I really don't know how to pronounce that last name, discussed his process and goals in writing the script for the Ballad of Space Bounty Hunters and Criminal Organizations. Recognizing Cowboy Bebop's status as a widely beloved and iconic anime series, the writer notes that the design philosophy of the series was that we ain't playing Bebop, Bebop is playing us. Okay then. He then drew a comparison to Star Wars franchise and noted how one could not give them different hair and different clothing and call it something different. We ain't playing Bebop, Bebop is playing us. You can't look at Cowboy Bebop and say, well, it's just a takeoff point. We're going to give them different hair and different clothing, and we're going to call it something different, and it's just sort of gonna be a loose thing. If you're doing Cowboy Bebop, you're doing Cowboy Bebop, you know? It's kind of like doing Star Wars. I'm so confused right now. We ain't playing Bebop, Bebop is playing us. So they're going to get them different hair and different clothing and do something different with the series. Then what's the point in even doing the series? Ironically, given the comparison to the recent fast and loose handling of Star Wars canon and material quality, Grillo-Marxuach proceeded to note that while the show will feature an original narrative, as the team wished to avoid fans of the show looking at it and say that we failed them or we failed the original. Like, I get that, like, you want to take your own take on this space opera, like, the Space Cowboy series. But how far are we gonna make changes here? Like, there's telling different stories and making, like, new situations here and there. That'd be fascinating to see what other adventures the Bebop gang gets into. But if it's going to, like, just cut off the narrative, cut off the point, and do something vastly different to the characters, as a lot of reboots have been doing nowadays, it's honestly a scary thing. Like, what's the point? It sounds like you just want to make your own space series, but you know it's not going to get that much attention, so you're going to take someone else's idea that's going to have that audience come and watch it, but still do your own thing. I don't see a point in doing that. Facilitated by the extension of episodes from 22 minutes to a full hour, the new narrative will try to tell the broader story of Spike Spiegel and the Syndicate, Spike Spiegel and Julia, Spike Spiegel and Vicious, and all of that. Okay, so we're focusing more on Spike's story, even though it wasn't really about Spike. It was just about these random characters in space being bounty hunters and just the random events that occurred, and sometimes their backstories would come into play. You've got a show where you have 26 episodes that are full of very colorful villains, very colorful stories, very colorful adversaries, bounties, and all of that. We're not going to go one-to-one on all of those stories because we're also trying to tell the broader story of Spike Spiegel and the Syndicate, Spike Spiegel and Julia, Spike Spiegel and Vicious, and all of that. We are looking at the show and saying, who are some of the great villains in this show? And how can we put them into the broader narrative? So that we are telling both of the big stories that Cowboy Bebop tells. It's like they're looking too much into it. Like, it was just a space adventure with space cowboys and just the random occurrences. It was more of a study piece, just seeing what life would be like in this kind of environment. Despite the original series having a finite number of episodes, writing on the adaptation second season is already underway. Great! Grillo-Marxuach explained that there were no plans to end the series after a certain number of episodes. He reasoned that there were always going to be criminals to catch, in direct opposition to his attempt to assure fans that the team fully indicated to capture the true spirit of the original name. Grillo-Marxuach also revealed that the certain mature elements of the series would be toned down. What's even the point? You got to see just how full-on and ugly and depressive their lives were and what they did to survive, and you saw that through like many of the characters that they met throughout their journey, just throughout their lives. What's the point of toning it down? You're like missing the essence of Cowboy Bebop. Specifically, Grillo-Marxuach notes that the smoking habits of characters such as Spike, played by John Cho, and Faye, played by Daniela Pineda, would be less glamorized. It was never glamorized! Are we making Cowboy Bebop for kids? There was a reason when Cowboy Bebop was on Adult Swim. It was a very dark and somewhat depressing story about space bounty cowboys. Boy! He also explained that Fayes' design was changed in order to have a real human being wearing that. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that. With our modern audience behaving the way it is nowadays, I don't believe it. Other smaller changes are also being made in translation, as one would expect. For example, Fayes' revealing costume from the anime has been toned down a bit. Define a bit. Because I swear, if she's wearing a full body suit, I swear! Netflix's costume design because, as Grillo-Marxuach put it, we need to have a real human being wearing that! And while the characters still smoke, the habit may be less glamorized to reflect modern sense. There's your answer right there! There it is! You are censoring everything and toning down everything for modern sensibility. Don't even bother redoing Cowboy Bebop if that's the case. This is gonna be a nightmare. You're missing everything that made Cowboy Bebop what it was. It's not a happy-go-lucky adventure with these band of heroes taking down the system in the future. It was just people trying to survive with all this crap around them in space. It's like they just don't want to see the ugly reflection that is humanity. They just want to censor everything and make their heroes more appealing, like less human. They're saying we need a real human being wearing that. Are you even writing for human beings? Are these human beings that you are writing for? Are these characters human? Are they just gonna be robots reflecting good morals and sensibilities and what's right and wrong? Everything is just black and white in this future. This is gonna be a nightmare. At the conclusion of this interview, Grillo-Marxuach again attempts to ease fears from the series' loyal fan base. Good luck. About the adaptation, stating that he hopes we can convert them to look at our version of it. Famous last words. That's what every dumpster fire says. Like, this is our interpretation. Then again, there are some that are just like, if you don't like it, well then you just hate us. It's like, that's a real mature way of addressing what you did to the series. We can convert them to look at our version of it and think that it's a wonderful translation, a wonderful addition to the original canon. They just want to take the canon and fix it. He states everybody has a different idea of what the best version of a show is, and a lot of Cowboy Bebop fans believe that the anime is the best version of that show. Hear, hear. We hope that we can convert them to look at our version of it and think that it's a wonderful translation of a wonderful addition to the original canon. I feel like this article is just repeating a lot, so I'm just gonna stop there. That they're changing things for a modern audience to take in while toning down everything from the wardrobe to the smoking to the atmosphere itself. Like, everything has to be toned down to fit in this new modern audience. Why bother? Honestly, this just sounds like he had an idea for a space adventure with his own ideals and beliefs, but it didn't get greenlit. Nobody was interested in it, so it's like, well, how about I make a live-action Cowboy Bebop? And as they're working on it, he starts inserting his own feelings into something that doesn't belong to him. That's what I'm seeing with a lot of remakes and modern projects nowadays, that they're taking something that is owned by somebody else and inserting their own beliefs and ideologies into the series that had nothing to do with the original idea. And that's what I'm scared about with this live-action adaptation to Cowboy Bebop. That Fayes is probably going to be extremely boring, with no femme fatale personality. That's what the wardrobe just added to Fayes' persona. That, if you guys don't remember, she's the oldest person in the show. Like, she's like in her 70s or 80s, because she was cryogenically frozen in time after she nearly died from an accident when she was trying to fly to the moon with her family. She was cryogenically frozen, brought back to life, and was all like, hey, congratulations, you're alive. It's like 54 years later. By the way, for this treatment, you now owe us this many woolongs, which is pretty much the healthcare system in a nutshell. Like, did I ask for this? Did I want this? You just forced it on me, and now I'm being forced to pay off this huge debt. Thanks. So she's on the run, using everything that she can to defend herself, to make sure that she's free. She uses her feminine wiles to lure in her subject, and then get what she wants, ditch him, and she has huge trust issues because of everything that happened to her, and you don't blame her. This does not make her a bad character, though. It makes her just an interesting character, because you're seeing what this world did to her. Everything that she is, from her wardrobe to her attitude to her arsenal, is all molded onto her because of the environment that she was thrown into. She didn't want any of this. She has amnesia. She has a huge build that she was just like, great, why do I have this? Why am I even alive? Thanks. Then who is Faye Valentine in your series? Just a woman with guns, hating everyone? Like, we can't judge it until we see it, but I'm already getting warning flags from this that, like, hey, this is my vision of Cowboy Bebop. I hope I can convert some of you diehard fans to my interpretation that is a little bit more sensitive and toned down and censored a bit to fit the modern audience and what they think is right for people nowadays. Cowboy Bebop for kids. Rated PG-13. I hate everything. So what are your thoughts? I was gonna give this a chance, but now I'm just like, help. I'm probably still gonna watch it, but I'm probably gonna have to take a shot for every time I cringe. Just leave your answers in the comment section down below. Like, am I being too harsh? I don't know anymore. Like, I just get a little worried when they're saying like, hey, we're doing an adaptation of this beloved series that you loved and just pretty much molded and shaped the anime community and got people to love anime to begin with, but we're toning it down a lot. I don't see a point. I don't think this is Cowboy Bebop that you're making. You are making a space bounty hunter show just for you and no one else. So again, what do you think about this? Leave your answers in the comment section down below. Coming up next will be the continuation of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure review series. Next up will be the review of JoJo Part 2. Battle Tendency, that's it. That's the second arc. And I just announced on Facebook what our next top 10 list would be as voted by our Patreon supporters. It'll be top 10 catchiest opening songs, Part 2. Even I'm surprised. I'm like, wait, you want a Part 2 of this? Oh boy! There's gonna be so many people saying, this is catchy, and so many repeatedness. I'll be like, yeah, so many comments. But I'll read through them and try my best to make an awesome second version of that amazing list. I think it's like our most watched video of all time on Anime America, so sequel, there you go. Thank you all so much for watching. More awesome videos will be on the way, so stay tuned, Anime America. Bye. Hey there, if you like what we do on this channel, be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. If you wish to support us financially, we do have a Patreon page with numerous rewards to fit your budget. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @AnimeAmerica, and be sure to check out our other channel, Pop Spectrum. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned, Anime America.